The film begins in the past 15 years ago with Massey and Emily, two spies in British intelligence. They were carrying out a secret mission at the time and found themselves drawn to each other during the operation, which led to a secret relationship developing between them. Later, Emily is seen in the bathroom with a pregnancy test, shocked to discover she is pregnant. The scene transitions to Massey and Emily on their way to the palace where the mission is taking place. They are in contact through earpieces with Ashak and Chuck, their superiors in intelligence, who inform them that they must attend the birthday party of terrorist leader Gore, the head of the terrorist organization Falco. Ashak asks them to blend in at the party as if they were invited guests to gain access to an electronic device called the Key. The Key is a device that controls the industrial system of the nation's infrastructure, ports, and nuclear reactors in England. Upon entering the party, they manage to sneak into an office and open a secret safe to obtain the key. However, the alarm suddenly goes off, and guards rush in. Massey and Emily face difficulties while trying to escape, battling Gore's men using their combat skills until they manage to leave the palace and flee. After successfully escaping, Ashak directs them to the airport to meet Baron, their colleague who has prepared a plane for them. They arrive at the airport where Baron is waiting for them, greets them, and wishes them a safe return journey. During the flight, Emily tells Massey that she is pregnant. Massey expresses his joy and says that despite their short acquaintance, he feels she is his soulmate and wants to stay with her and raise the child together. However, Emily expresses her concerns, saying that having and raising a child goes against the dangerous life they lead as spies, a lesson she knows well from her own experience. Massey tries to reassure her, assuring her that they will find a solution to this dilemma. He seems happy and excited about the idea of starting a family, as it's something he's always dreamed of. Emily feels tired and asks to go to the bathroom, but the flight attendant informs her that the bathroom is out of service. Emily feels something suspicious as she looks at Massey, and suddenly, Gore appears on the plane. The flight attendant grabs Emily and threatens her with a gun, demanding that Massey return the key they stole. Massey hands the key over to Gore, but in a split second, Emily manages to twist the flight attendant's arm. Massey attacks Gore, and a fierce fight breaks out between the two teams, with Gore's other men appearing on the plane. Massey and Emily engage in combat using their high-level skills, and during the skirmish, one of Gore's men picks up a gun from the floor and loads a bullet to shoot Emily. But Massey intervenes at the last moment, grabbing the man's hand, causing the bullet to veer off course and strike the man himself, killing him instantly. The plane begins to descend dangerously and crashes into an ice mountain, causing parts of it to break apart as it slides toward a slope. Massey and Emily rush to the parachute storage, only to find one parachute. Massey insists that Emily take the parachute to save herself and the child, but Emily refuses. Instead, she jumps with Massey, and they both cling to the parachute. The two manage to survive the crash and land safely on the ground. After landing, Emily wonders if this is the life they want to live, especially now that they know they're going to be parents. She insists that the child they're expecting deserves a normal life, with a family that loves and protects them. Emily suggests that they take the opportunity to escape, since everyone will believe they died in the plane crash. She convinces Massey to leave their lives as spies behind and move to America to start a new life and build a family. 15 years pass, and in the present, we see them living in America. They have a daughter named Ella and a son named Leo, and they lead a normal life, trying to forget their past as spies. Massey and Emily are seen in a scene, taking their children to school. Massey tells his son, Leo, to take care of himself and teaches him that if he ever needs something, he can press the button on his ring, which contains a tracking device. He also explains that the ring monitors blood pressure and sugar levels due to his health condition. Later, Emily notices her daughter Ella standing with her friends, and she watches her through binoculars, a habit she hasn't been able to shake off due to her past as a spy. She sees Ella kiss a boy from her group, which surprises both Massey and Emily, as Ella is still only 14. They stay in the car watching her until Ella calls them, telling them that she knows they're watching her, which embarrasses her in front of her friends. Massey and Emily return home, and Emily decides to open her daughter's laptop to spy on her and see if she's doing anything wrong. Unable to shake her old habits, she easily guesses the password. She opens the laptop and checks the messages, discovering that Ella is planning to travel to Beirut with her friends. They decide to follow her there before she does anything wrong. When they arrive in Beirut, they try to take Ella away, but her male friends intervene and stop them. They start provoking Massey with words, pushing Emily to use her combat skills. During this, one of them films the situation on his phone and presses the publish button. Massey manages to snatch the phone from his hand and deletes the video. They then take Ella and leave the place. In the car, Ella tells her parents that she discovered they had opened her laptop and read her messages. She is furious that they are always spying on her, and she wonders how they learn combat skills. Massey responds by saying that they've been taking Taekwondo lessons for a long time. Ella expresses her frustration, saying she always feels like there's something from their past that they're hiding from her. She storms off angrily to her room. The next morning, the doorbell rings. When they open it, Massey and Emily are surprised to find Chuck, their former boss in intelligence, standing in front of them. He had discovered they were alive after watching the video that was posted on social media, showing them fighting the young men at the nightclub. Chuck informs them that Gore, the leader of the Falco terrorist organization, had been searching for them all these years because he knows the key is with them and hasn't stopped trying to find it since the plane crash. Emily insists that the key was lost in the crash, but Chuck warns them that they are still in danger, as Gore believes they still have it. During Chuck's conversation, he is shot by a sniper and falls dead. Massey and Emily rush inside the house, where they come under fire from outside. They quickly run to the garage and escape in a car, as Gore's men chase them. They believe they are pursuing the original car, but when they get close, they realize it's empty. It was a trick set up by Massey and Emily to mislead them, as they had escaped in another car from the house. The pursuit by Gore's men continues, and Emily is shocked, unable to understand why they're being chased despite not having the key. Massey finally admits that he took the key with him before the plane crash, to prevent it from falling into anyone else's hands. Emily is furious that he kept this from her. The chase continues, and Massey explains to Emily that he hid the key in a secret stash at his mother's house in England. They need to go there immediately to retrieve the key and hand it over to British intelligence for protection. Emily asks Massey why he hid the key at his mother's house, and he replies that it was the safest place. At that moment, Gore's men's car gets closer, and they begin shooting at them. Quickly, Massey grabs a bottle of Coca-Cola, puts a piece of candy inside, and throws it at the other car, causing it to explode. The driver, blinded by the explosion, loses control and the car flips. With this, Massey and Emily successfully escape from Gore's men. They then rush to Ella and Leo's school and take them with them. They head to the airport, telling the kids that they're traveling to visit their grandmother in England. Ella and Leo are shocked to discover they have a grandmother living in England, as Emily had kept this from them. They feel something is being hidden from them and that their parents' explanation doesn't make sense. Emily asks them to listen to what they are about to say and assures them that they will learn everything later. On the plane, Emily and Massey hesitated to reveal the truth to their children. Emily argued that keeping the truth hidden might protect them and keep them safe, and that it was better they didn't know they had been spies in the past. When they arrived at the airport, they rented a car to head to Emily's mother's house. On the way, they asked their children not to use the internet or phones. Leo and Ella didn't understand the reason for this request. At a gas station, Ella and Leo took money from Massey to buy snacks at the restaurant. Despite their warnings, they ignored them and accessed the internet on a device that Massey had hidden. Soon after, Massey noticed Gore's men appearing at the station, so he grabbed the fuel hose and set it on fire to threaten them from approaching. A fight broke out with Gore's men while Ella and Leo watched from inside the restaurant. Using their combat skills, Massey and Emily managed to defeat Gore's men. They quickly got to the car and drove away from the location. On the road, Ella and Leo asked for an explanation of what they had witnessed. Massey and Emily confessed that they had been spies in British intelligence 15 years ago and that the men they were fighting with at the station had been chasing them. Ella and Leo were shocked, but they found the explanation logical, as they had always felt something strange about their parents' past. Leo was particularly fascinated, as he loved spy movies. Massey told Leo that he had accessed the internet from a device he had hidden, so Leo grabbed it and threw it out of the car. They arrived at Emily's mother's house, where they met their grandmother Jenny, who was hunting birds with her rifle. Jenny had also been a former spy in British intelligence. She took Ella and Leo on a tour of her mansion. Meanwhile, Massey and Emily spoke with Jenny to learn more about the key and the Falco organization they had been chasing. Emily noticed that her relationship with her mother, Jenny, was strained. Jenny told Emily that she hadn't visited her or allowed her children to know they had a grandmother because she didn't want her children to have the same difficult childhood she had had with her own mother, who had also been a spy. At that moment, Ella had overheard her mother Emily talking to her grandmother Jenny, and she began to understand why her mother had kept the truth about being a spy from them. Emily had wanted to protect them from the fate she had suffered in the past. After that, Massey took Emily to the secret hideout next to the mansion where he had been hiding the key. At that moment, they heard the sound of a helicopter landing at the mansion. They rushed over, and when they entered, they found that Gore's men had entered the mansion and had tied up Jenny and Nigel. The events paused when they saw Gore's men holding their children, Ella and Leo. In that moment, Massey was holding the key in his hand and told them he would give it to them on the condition that they wouldn't harm his children. Suddenly, Chuck appeared in front of them, and everyone was shocked to discover he was still alive after they had witnessed him getting shot and dying earlier. Chuck told them that he had been dismissed from his job in British intelligence due to the plane crash and the lost key, as the intelligence agency considered it an unacceptable failure. He had lost his job and many other things in his life. Therefore, he decided to betray the agency and collaborate with Gore to get the key. Chuck had deceived Massey and Emily when they reappeared in their lives, pretending he had died after being shot. But all of this was part of a staged plan to lead them to the location where the key was hidden. Indeed, his plan succeeded in the end, and he took the key from them. Meanwhile, Jenny managed to free herself, grabbed a weapon hidden in the kitchen, and began attacking Gore's men with sedative arrows. Despite Gore's men advancing on her, Jenny used her old combat skills as a former spy. But at the same time, Chuck heard the noise coming from outside and quickly moved to confront Massey and Emily. Two of Gore's men approached from behind Massey and Emily to strike them, but Chuck was holding Ella and Leo, threatening to kill them. In that moment, Chuck took Ella and Leo to the helicopter and flew them away from the mansion. When Massey and Emily regained consciousness and Jenny realized that Chuck had taken their children, they rushed to review the security camera footage. They discovered that Leo had pointed to them during his abduction, signaling that he was wearing the tracking ring on his hand. With this clue, they were able to pinpoint their location, which was in a nearby museum by the river. Massey and Emily arrived at the location at night, where Chuck was at the museum preparing for a secret auction to sell the key to George's competitors, hoping to make a fortune from the deal. To demonstrate the power of the key, Chuck asked his assistant, Dean Phil, to use it to temporarily cut the city's electricity and then restore it later. Additionally, he asked her to open the water barrier on the river, which could lead to a catastrophe if left open for too long. As all this was happening in front of them, Massey and Emily attempted to enter the place, but were stopped by guards who began to fight them. As usual, they used their combat skills to defeat the guards. At that moment, their former colleague, Baron, appeared with his intelligence agents and told them he knew Chuck was collaborating with George. Therefore, they had come to arrest him. They entered together into the room where Chuck was, and upon seeing them, Chuck quickly fled. Massey and Emily chased after him, but during the pursuit, two of George's men appeared on motorcycles, wielding guns. At that moment, Jenny, their grandmother, arrived carrying a sniper rifle and began using her targeting skills to stop George's men. In that moment, Massey and Emily quickly rode the motorcycle to catch up with the boat, carrying their children and Chuck across the river. While George's men chased them on motorcycles, firing at them, Chuck communicated with his assistant, Dean Phil, via radio, asking her to meet him on the other side of the river with the key. Emily managed to shake off George's men and sped up to catch the boat before it crossed the open bridge. She seized a small boat, launch, and started driving quickly with Massey beside her. At the same time, Nigel, Jenny's boyfriend, was waiting in his car behind the museum. When he noticed Dean Phil leaving and getting into her car, he decided to follow her and found her unconscious with the key and a laptop beside her. Nigel contacted Jenny to inform her that he had obtained the key. Jenny asked him to use it quickly to close the open bridge. Nigel tried using the laptop to control the key, but initially failed. Meanwhile, Emily and Massey reached the boat and jumped on to fight Chuck's men. At the same time, Nigel managed to crack the laptop's code and ordered the bridge to close. The bridge began to close as the boat sped toward it. Emily and Massey tried to convince Chuck's men to jump off the boat before the collision, and they did, leaping into the water. As the boat collided with the closing bridge and exploded, everyone survived and managed to escape the water. Massey felt proud as he saw Leo waving at them, wearing the ring that helped them track him down. Afterward, Emily hugged her daughter Alice, and the family celebrated together. Later, at a football match, Alice scored a fantastic goal for her team, and her parents celebrated her victory. After the game, Emily spoke with Alice, reassuring her that she could go out with her friends freely. Alice promised to take care of herself and celebrate with her friends. As Massey and Emily were preparing to leave in their car, Barron suddenly appeared, telling them that Chuck's body had not been found after the boat's collision with the bridge. He asked them to help with a new mission. If you love movies and movie recaps, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Hit like if you enjoyed the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.